What's up, everybody? Welcome back to HR Heretics. Today, we're doing a segment on promotions. And so I'm going to pop up my screen right now. And for those of you listening, I'll walk you through what I'm going to share with the audience that's going to watch. So basically, this data is from Live Data Technologies. And they are showing data, as I pop it up right now, about promotions. And it turns out that in Q1 of 2024, promotions are down 24%. And if you look at it from like Q1 of 2022 to Q1 of 2024, it looks like they're down almost half. So Kelly, we've had a couple of conversations, and I would say like anecdotal feedback from friends and peers talking about now what's actually showing up in the data. By the way, this is a sample of 68 million US-based white-collar professionals. So that's what the data set is. So, Kelly, what's your take on this promotion data, and what do you think's going on here?
Yeah, no, hi, everyone. It's nice to be back from the beach. I was not having a pina colada, for the record.
My ties, sorry.
Nor was at the beach. This is great, because I told Nolan, right, we had been talking about this across a few episodes, this or that, but you're right, it has been anecdotal. And now we're looking at, 6 bars here, 6 years of data. And this last quarter, it was half of what it was 2 years ago, and kind of impacted all the groups proportionally the same. So if you look at boomers, Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z, I'm not seeing a lot of significant differences in those generations, Nolan, with this cut on the overall cut. But it is, and I think it's nice, not nice to see this, but it's nice to see that the anecdotal things we've been talking about are actually verified with this huge data set of what's been happening.
Yep. So what's interesting to me is, we went from the Great Resignation to then obviously every company's had some, form of a RIF or layoff, to now we're, people are calling it the big stay, right? To where employees aren't leaving because there aren't many jobs open. Now we see this data. And what's interesting to me about this data is, you could have expected, if you were in, call it like a level 3 to 4 or 5 role for the last few years in tech, every 18 to 36 months, you can expect a promotion. Now what we're seeing in this data is like, that's not happening. Promotions are going away. And I think the reason why is actually something that I learned at Google is like, well, you can't just get promoted for doing great work. You can only get promoted if the next job is big enough for you to take that on. And I think what this data is actually showing is actually like there isn't that next job available. And so the question becomes, what happens? What happens with these employees? Are they going to continue to stay in these roles? Are employers going to start giving salary increases at a more accelerated rate because they can't promote these people into new titles? What do you think is going to happen here, Kelly?
Look, I mean, I think this hasn't been surprising to me. And let me just take you through my logic on that. So 18 months ago or whatnot, you know what I mean? Like, stuff hit the fan. And companies basically like just reined it in. Spending, hiring, everyone did a RIF. I don't even know. I mean, if anyone did not do a RIF, I applaud you. We did 2, not huge ones, but we did 2 of them. When you're doing these things, it's very hard to reconcile spending a bunch of money on promotions, merit increase. A lot of companies didn't even do comp increases.
Correct.
They had to do merit cycles because they were trying to survive as an organization, either the cash or they were trying to keep jobs, right? And promoting people, let alone giving increases without promotion, costs money, which is the thing that everyone was losing. So I think that played a very big factor in it. And then look at what we did. We did it here, right? You simplify the organization. You're cutting jobs, you're flattening the structures, you're reducing layers, you're increasing spans, and you're shifting your whole company construction, as we've been talking about, to doers and less top heavy, right? And then you're having, I don't know about you all out there, but you're having these early stage kind of entry level roles lessen, because that's a lot of the promotions, right? What should be. We see fast cycles of SDRs, CSMs, of entry level AEs. These are the roles that you get promoted really quickly. A lot of those roles got freaking cut. And so I think it never is one thing in life, as we know, but I think it's multiple things that all contributed to this lagging indicator bar chart a few months ago. And that's all the stuff that happened in the last 18 months showing up in that bar chart.
Yep. I think what's going to happen is a growing dissatisfaction amongst employees. We've already seen this over the course of the last few years, but now if you're telling somebody, hey, we need you to do this job and there is no career path for you here. We just expect you to do this job and be happy about doing that job because there may not be another job for you in the market. That person is going to start to think about their backup plan. And it may be true. I still think it's true today in general in tech that jobs are disappearing faster than they're appearing. I know that that's a pessimistic take. I like to be an optimistic person, but I aspire to be a realistic person first. I think AI is going to take away, especially more of those new entry-level jobs, which is what you're talking about, that already started going away during the last couple of years. I think AI is going to take more of those away. And so if you start to think about, I'm in this role, I've been here for a few years, and I'm not seeing career progression, what do I start doing? I start thinking about other revenue streams for myself that is not this job. I start giving less to my job and start thinking more about like, what's my backup plan here in case they do cut me because they've already done 2 layoffs. And so I think that's what's going to start to happen, if not already happening. Like everyone's going to have a side gig and a side hustle eventually. And I'm curious how companies are going to think about that, because I think they're coming from a perspective of, well, you should be happy that you should have a job. And I just see this train wreck coming in the near future if more roles and more responsibility don't become open to employees to grow themselves and grow their careers.
Hey everyone, we'll be right back in a moment after a word from our sponsors. Your workforce is both your organization's greatest strength and largest single cost. With Planful, it's easy to unlock the secrets of successful workforce planning so you and your HR team can make the right business decisions. Imagine using data-driven insights to develop accurate forecasts, close hiring gaps, and adjust talent acquisition plans collaboratively based on costs today and into the future. Planful lets you collaborate with colleagues in finance to understand the value your employees bring to the table. And the best part, you can get started with Planful in just weeks with minimal help from IT. Plus, with Planful, you get an endless runway. Planful grows with you, no matter how fast or large your team scales. Ready to transform your HR strategy? Join over 1,500 organizations worldwide who trust Planful as their go-to workforce planning software at planful.com/heretics. Real talk, most talent leaders haven't yet cracked how to leverage AI for meaningful impact on their hiring processes and business goals. But the leaders who are effectively using AI to transform their recruiting team's efficiency and quality use Metaview. Metaview is the AI assistant for the interview process. Their AI records and transcribes hiring conversations, like intakes, interviews, and debriefs, then provides perfectly summarized notes of everything that was discussed. That means your people can focus on creating human connections with candidates during calls and save time on the busy work of cleaning up notes after every interview. But it's so much more than just a time saver, because perfect notes means perfect data. For every candidate in every pipeline, hiring teams can make confident, informed decisions, and talent leaders can finally take control of the interview process. Join forward-thinking talent leaders at high-performing organizations like Brex, HelloFresh, and Fora, and check out Metaview. Head over to metaview.ai/heretics to talk to one of Metaview's product experts or get started for free. You'll be up, running, and AI-enabled in minutes.
So, yeah, there's a few threads there. I mean, the AI thing, I'd love to maybe pin that, because I don't think that AI has been the reason you saw a lot of these lower level roles get cut. I personally think AI is going to take a while for folks to figure it out. I think everyone's loved saying it. I think no one's really figured out how to operationalize it so you can cut these organizations in half. And I'll tell you, like, we cut CSMs and basically no one was there to catch the work. Not another person, not AI. And we hurt because of that. So my hypothesis is that AI is still going slow for many people. Again, we all love to say it. I think very few have wrapped their heads around it enough to replace jobs. Like, that will come, but I don't think that was a factor in the last 18 months. Now, you know my take that we're humans. Humans are, right, we have bias, we do this, we go left, we go right, we follow where the wind blows. I think the pendulum has swung so far, right? Let's just say it was so far one way 3 years ago, where people were like throwing money at folks. People were holding companies hostage. If you don't promote me, I'm leaving. They get promoted. I mean, look at the bar chart, right? It's spiked like 2.5 years ago. And then everything kind of clamped down. Companies swung way the other way. And I heard it from a few, right? They kind of took advantage of it to say, you know what? We're taking our power back. The grass isn't greener anywhere because everyone's hurting. And we're going to clamp down on this. And then people got stuck in the oh shit moments that I think is happening now. And you're seeing a lot of companies saying, oh, but for great people that we want to stay here and are amazing at what they do, we actually forgot that we have to like show that we love them and retain them. So I'm seeing a lot of these like retention pop-up tents, right, coming up, special equity. Like, I'm seeing a lot of these things come up because in true form, everyone kind of sees what's right in front of their face. And that was the macro, and forgot that, oh, for the special 5-10%, you do actually have to pay attention to these people. The last thing I'll say is, I don't know about all of you out there, but I am seeing and feeling it. I'm right here in San Francisco, the Bay Area, and I'm moving out of my full-time role at Pendo to an advisor role, which I'm really excited about, which means I've been out in the market more, reconnecting with folks, chatting with VCs, chatting with old colleagues. The soil is loosening out there. Like, it's not going, in the greatest direction and very fast, but it doesn't feel like it felt a year ago. And there's a lot more movement, roles. Even if the roles aren't open, companies are talking about how they're going to reorganize and have different opportunities. Like, it's like the Titanic engine is starting in the other direction, albeit slowly. And I think that come a year, 18 months from now, Nolan, people are not going to be able to say anymore the grass isn't greener anywhere else.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying as it relates to early stage companies. I don't agree at the growth stage. And I think the growth stage has been such a driver of hiring in our ecosystem that if you just look at that data, right, promotions at like a Series A, Series B company aren't like really a thing. Like, for sure they happen, but it's just like usually like you just like take on more shit is like what a promotion
and you're
is.
Ahead of.
But you're not getting like an increase until like 9 months later, and like when somebody forgot that you actually like did all these things. But I think the growth stage of these companies has been such a driver of hiring in our ecosystem, and I'm just not sure that that's going to ever look like it did 5 to 10 years ago. It might. I hope it does. But you and I have been saying on this podcast that company formation is changing. You just described changes that you guys made at Pendo. You flatten the org. You have more ICs. You have less managers. All of that to me means we are leaner. We are optimized for more doers. And we're just going to run in this new way to where we need less people. And so I think an expectation change is on the horizon for employees. Like, this is where my take is. What we saw for the last 10 years is not what we're going to see for the next 10. And I don't think we can use a pattern of what happened in the past to think about what's going to happen in the future. And so this is where and I have talked about being layoff proof, building your networks, building your skill sets. Those are the things that are going to go to the 5 to 10%. I think you said it really well, Kelly. And it was kind of like a little bit of like a asterisk, but I think it's the thing. If you are in that top 5 to 10%, things are going to be awesome for you, probably better than ever before. If you are not in that category, or you're not thought of in that category, I think it's going to be very challenging moving forward.
Yeah. The other thing that I'll say is this, let's call it this like herd of growth companies, right? That are all in this spot. Can't go public, can't raise,
too high valuation.
Yes, that is, you need to throw a rock. They're all over the place. I don't think that will be the case a year from now. I think that these companies, fast forward 12, 18 months, they're either going to die or survive. And so I do think that you will see like a group within that consideration set, high growth again, and come out of this. And I think that company construction will be different, and this will always be in the back of people's minds. But I also know when like the ball starts rolling and money's coming in, you got products, you have customer. That's a big fever of like, we got to hire, we got to grow. And so I do think that will come back, but it's not going to be 9 out of 10 companies anymore, right? It'll maybe 5 out of 10.
Yep. Well said. So my advice to the audience is plan for the worst, hope for the best. Like, be an optimist. I am an optimist. I know I sound pessimistic on these last couple of shows. I don't want to be that way. I just want to be real with what I'm hearing from my friends. So let us know what you guys think. Let us know what you're hearing, from inside of your companies. Kelli and I will obviously like keep this stuff confidential, but it's good for us to keep an ear to the ground, and we want to hear from the audience. So let us know what you think. Our DMs are open on LinkedIn and on Twitter. And as always, hit us up in the comments if you have any questions or thoughts. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, all.
HR Heretics is a podcast from Turpentine, the network behind Econ 102, Moment of Zen, and Turpentine VC. Subscribe, 5 stars, share it on Apple, YouTube, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts, all the things.